My name is Camille Scott. I'm a Marriage and Family Studies major at BYU, Idaho, and I did my internship at the Rexburg Family Crisis Center. How I got the internship is that I knew from the start of my major and finding out that I needed an internship, that I wanted to do an internship at the Crisis Center. I volunteered at places like that before, and I found it really fulfilling because people who are down and out and in a bad situation, hurting, they're really hungry for any help you can give them, and that's very fulfilling and rewarding for me. Because I knew what I wanted, I got on the ball really early. I did my internship in winter semester of 2015, and I reached out to the Crisis Center in June of 2014. Because I was so early, whenever I followed up on my application, I was interviewed on the spot and given a position on the spot, and that was a load off my mind to have that taken care of so early in the game. My responsibilities at the Family Crisis Center were very different. There was a big variety, a lot of different things to do. It's a nonprofit, so a lot of what they need interns for is the everyday operations, running things so that the advocates and the administrators that work there can do their job. A lot of times I would be at the front desk, which is where I would answer phone calls and help people that would come in. A lot of it was generous people who wanted to either volunteer or donate something, or they wanted to know how they could help. And also that's how the clients would contact us. They would come in or call on the phone. So sometimes these are things of a very sensitive nature, and it's important to be very compassionate and to know how to help them. The front desk is a great learning opportunity because most of the time I didn't know the answers to the questions, but I could just politely put them on hold or say just one moment please and go back and get an answer from the full-time staff that works there, and I learned a lot that way. Another thing you'll probably spend a lot of your time doing is working in a thrift store. The thrift store is where we have tons of clothes, shoes, housewares, etc. that are donated by the community. The community can come in and shop. The proceeds go into funding the Crisis Center, and we can also give our clients things from the thrift store free of charge. So if they need clothes for themselves or their family, or if they need housewares, then they can come down and get that free of charge from the Family Crisis Center. The food bank, before I move on to the food bank, in the thrift store you would be checking people out, you would be restocking, cleaning, organizing, and things like that, just keeping it in order, running it. And the food bank is a similar concept to the thrift store. In the food bank, it's kind of like a Bishop's storehouse, if you've ever been to one of those. There is non-perishable food items also donated by the community, and we have a lot of food back there, and also a lot of hygiene items, non-food items that are essential, baby food, formula, body wash, things like that. And we can also provide our clients with needs from that area free of charge. We do have a food bank, which is every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. that the community can come. So not just clients, victims of domestic abuse or sexual assault, but anyone from the community that's in need, and they can just show their proof of residency for Madison County, and they can come get not just that non-perishable food, but we also receive donations of fresh food weekly from local grocery stores like Brolum's and Albertsons. When you help in the food bank, for that weekly food bank, you would be carrying heavy boxes of food around to different stations and getting all the different food groups and taking the boxes out to people's cars. If you're doing a food box or a needs box for a client, you just kind of go down there with your list and fill that up for a client. Sorting donations was another one of my responsibilities. Just anything that comes in. We take everything at the Family Crisis Center. So there's a lot of sorting to see if it's good enough to keep, then categorizing it where it needs to go, putting it away, making it ready. One of the really fun things I had an opportunity to do is to do presentations at high schools and middle schools. There's a lot of presentations that were done, and you basically get to go into the schools and talk about healthy relationships and not so healthy relationships. You get to talk about domestic violence and especially teen dating violence and sexual assault, how to protect yourself against that, what you can do if you or your friend is experiencing that, and what you can do to have a good, healthy relationship as well. We also do booths in the schools, and those are really fun. February was National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and we had a big giant pledge that the students could sign to pledge that they would stand up against teen dating violence, and we gave them literature and a lot of other fun things. My favorite opportunity at the Crisis Center is working with clients. You probably spend about 70% of your time doing the other things on this list and 30% of time working with clients, just because there's a lot of interns, and once you divide up how many interns there are, it's not your turn every time someone comes in. But it's a really great experience to sit in and observe the advocates meeting with the client. Maybe it's a follow-up meeting, maybe it's the first time and they're taking an inventory of what happened to them, seeing any injuries or damages that have been done to them, and it's just amazing to see and learn and sit in on that. Sometimes you need to take care of the client's children. If they come in with little children, which they often do, you might be needed to go into the child's room that has toys and movies and just play with them in there until their parents have been taken care of. There's also a great opportunity for innovation at the Crisis Center. You can brainstorm and come up with ways of how we can get our message out into the community. We're also always in need of funds at the Crisis Center, so it's great if you can come up with fundraising ideas to bring more revenue in. I feel like I was able to benefit the Family Crisis Center, just as I remarked before, by taking care of the everyday operations. There's about 5 to 7 full-time administrators or advocates, and they have their specific jobs that they do, and they're also advocates for all the clients that come in and taking care of their needs. And they're extremely busy. They have a lot to do to keep this nonprofit running. So they really need us, and I was able to help them by doing things like covering the front desk, watering the plants, answering the phones, vacuuming the floor, making sure people are greeted as they come and leave. They're really kind and considerate about us, and the advocates always say, we couldn't run without our interns, we don't know what we would do without our interns. You really do need to be a self-starter, and I feel like that's something that I was able to do in my internship. You have a lot of time where no one's telling you what to do. There's always things to do, but you need to see them and do them yourself, and I feel like that's something I was able to contribute. Also, when they came out and asked for someone to do something, cut up these papers or fold these brochures or come to court with this client, be quick to volunteer. I feel like that's something that I was able to do that made them really value me being there, is being quick to volunteer and not being silent and waiting for someone else to volunteer. I feel like I was able to be very compassionate, and that was helpful to clients, just to be a listening ear and someone that could validate their feelings and help them feel better. Also, I was the face of the Crisis Center. Anytime I was interacting with people, whether it was standing and greeting people that came in the door to go down to the thrift store, or checking people out at the thrift store, carrying food boxes for people, I wanted to be happy and friendly and kind, because I wanted them to associate that with the Family Crisis Center so that they could refer people there or always feel comfortable coming here if they needed to, because they know that nice people work there. I feel like I benefited so much from interning at the Family Crisis Center. I feel like I'm more informed about domestic violence and sexual assault, and I know about what I can do to protect myself from those situations, what I can teach my children to help them be safe, and my friends. I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but I had a great opportunity to practice the skills that I learned all throughout my major. I feel like it made me more compassionate, opened my eyes to the horrible things that some people have to go through and how they can still be strong and come back from them. I feel like this got me interested to where I could see myself working somewhere like this in the future. Or if I don't choose to work here for my income, I could pursue volunteer opportunities like this because it's very rewarding and fulfilling, even though it takes a lot out of you. I gained experience in public speaking and public relations, which are skills that are very marketable and I can carry with me for the rest of my life. And I worked with heroes. I really feel like all of the advocates that work there are so amazing. They're so unselfish, and all of them have really cool stories, and they're just so kind, and they have that special something that can really make the clients that come in feel comforted and can make them feel like they're not alone. And what they do and what they sacrifice and how tirelessly they work is really inspiring to me. My favorite thing that I learned from my internship is I learned the importance of preserving the ability to influence. What I mean by that is that sometimes I would sit in with clients and I would disagree with their actions. Sometimes you wonder in your head, why would you stay with that person if they're doing this to you? Or sometimes I really felt like they were kind of in the wrong, like maybe they were the ones abusing their spouse or something like that. And I didn't really agree with them. I would never say that, but I was thinking that in my mind. But the advocates that worked with them were so compassionate, and they always validated their feelings, and they never corrected them. And in discussing that with them, when the clients had left, I really learned that the most important thing is to make it a safe place where they feel like someone's on their side and they can come back again. And that's really the only hope that you have of helping someone. I feel like this helped me know how I can help people and how important it is to listen and to not judge them, because that gives you the ability to counsel with them and guide them and influence them later. I feel like that'll be important to me in the future, not just as a professional, but as a mother, that I'll be able to, especially teenagers, to listen to them without judging them so that they know that they can come to me for help when they need it. The coursework that I used the most in my internship was definitely the practicum class and the helping relationship. Both of those were very helpful. I use things from there all the time, especially the helping relationship. If you can take that class, do it. You learn a lot of really good skills for helping people, and I use those skills at the Crisis Center all the time. Skills to help people feel comfortable, to open up more, to continue discussing, to come at their own conclusions. Great opportunity to use those skills. I do recommend this internship, and here are some tips. Be a self-starter, be the first one to volunteer, build a relationship with the staff. Some of the best learning experiences I had were from conversations with the staff. Ask them questions. They're more than willing to sit down and talk to you. Also, don't treat it as just an internship. Take advantage of all the opportunities that you can, and really care about the people in the organization, what makes it run, and what you can contribute. If you are interested in a career at the Family Crisis Center, you can email Deanna Palmer. Email her information, your name, major, the semester you're interested in, your resume. When she sends you back the application, fill it out and email it back to her, and you can follow up with her on Margie Harris. Thank you.